You know, I was not expecting part 1 to even get half as much support as it did, but you guys seem to absolutely love the concept of Naruto getting a do-over with his life, and so we're here with part 2. It's currently about 1 hour after the video was uploaded, and the support that you guys are giving me down below in the comments is insane. So I'm assuming that you guys are probably gonna hit 1,000 likes. So here I am recording part 2. And before we get into the video, I just want to say like goal for today's video is actually going to be 750 likes. Once you guys hit that, then I'll definitely make sure to drop part 3. That said, enjoy this episode because trust me, it's comedic. Just know that. But yeah, enjoy.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
We pick our story off with Naruto waking up for the bell test. Now, everything would be normal. This is just another normal day, and Naruto would just be having a big smile on his face because this is actually one of Naruto's best memories. I mean, for crying out loud, in his Hokage desk, he literally has a picture of the day they actually became Team 7. Sasuke turning away, Kakashi holding the heads of both Sakura and Sasuke, and Naruto just making that little goofy face that we all know and love. You guys know what picture I'm talking about. Naruto is excited because he gets to relive the adventures that he had with his team over again. And this time, not only that, but Naruto gets to save people. Naruto is looking forward greatly to saving Zabuza and Haku, because the last thing that Naruto wants to do this time is to allow the fate that they were met within the original. So Naruto's going to do everything in his power to kind of change that. Not only that, but there's also something else that's on Naruto's mind that he kind of wants to change before, you know, he goes back and settles down with Hinata, because in his previous life he just spent the whole thing with Hinata, and I'm not saying that he doesn't like it, but I'm also not saying that he never wanted to experiment. So this time around, Naruto not having anybody to hold him down, he's like, you know what, maybe I could have a little bit of fun before me and Hinata finally settle down. I mean, she still loves me, she'll be around, and so it's gonna be popping up later in the episode. But for right now, just know that Naruto has his eye on a certain somebody that he thinks is kind of cool in the future. But regardless though, what would end up happening here is pretty much Naruto would end up going to the bell test area and knowing that Kakashi's gonna arrive late. So what does Naruto do? He arrives late himself. He ends up apologizing to the team, acting like a goofball, saying that he overslept. Sasuke would be like, you goofball, and Sakura would be like, oh, it's okay, Naruto, our sensei's not even here. From here, Kakashi would end up arriving 30 minutes later, and here is where Kakashi would end up cueing the bell test beginning, right? He would begin the countdown, and Naruto would smirk, thinking to himself that he has to do it once again. He would rush into Kakashi and let Kakashi lecture him once more, just like he would have in the original, and Naruto would be like, yeah, sorry. From here, he would rush over to the bushes, and he would look at Sasuke as he would say, look Sasuke, I think that the point of this test is actually teamwork. Something about the fact that only 2 people get to pass is rubbing me the wrong way. There's never in the history of anything been a 2-person squad. It's always 3 or 4 people with a Jonin. So I think that we actually have to work as a team. And Sasuke hearing this would be like, you know, that actually makes sense, Naruto. You're pretty smart. From here, Sakura hears all of that and she's like, all right, so what do we do? And Naruto just goes, all right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go in, I'm going to act silly, and I'm just going to make it look like I'm trying my hardest to capture the bells. But really, it's just going to be a shadow clone. Sasuke's like, you can make those now? And Naruto's like, yeah, I can make those. And, oh, actually, no, Naruto was actually able to make them this time around. So Sasuke would be like, all right. And then from here, Sakura would say, what's my role in this? Naruto's going to look at her and say, Sakura, your role is actually going to be the one responsible for snatching the bells, or at least the first person to attempt it, because I want Sasuke to come in after I get taken out with a fireball jutsu for Kakashi to get caught off guard. And once that happens, Sakura, I want you to rush at him mid-air as he's dodging the fireball and lunge and try to slash off the bells with the kunai. That way you can grab them and we can get a hold of them and pass. But I'm almost certain that Kakashi will be able to already predetermined that that would happen. So that's where I come in and lunge at him with tons of shadow clones that are all just going to try to bombard him. And I think that that's the best way that we can get the bells. I'm not sure if it'll work, but I think it's our best shot. And from here, Sakura's like, you know, Naruto, that's a great plan. Naruto smirks and is like, yeah, thanks. As from here, he would pretty much go on to say, let's do it. And immediately he would create a shadow clone which would rush into Kakashi and act like a complete goofball. Exactly the plan that I just told you guys would pretty much play out. And, you know, obviously Sasuke comes in, he's like, fireball jutsu. And poof, Sasuke would land on the ground. Kakashi's midair. Sakura tries to catch it. Kakashi dodges, and now he's in a compromisable position. Naruto would come in with all of his shadow clones, and noticing that he wasn't going to be able to get the jump on Kakashi, he decides to let out just a little bit of speed that what Kakashi wouldn't be able to notice. He quickly swipes at the bells, and Kakashi would land on the ground thinking that he didn't get them because no way again he could do it. But he would notice that both bells are in Naruto's hands, as Naruto would say, Sasuke, Sakura, I got the bells, tossing one to each of them, as he would say, don't worry guys, I'll stay in the academy. You guys go on without me. And Kakashi would land with a big smile on his face as he thinks that this is his team, right? And from here he says, you all pass. And, you know, he begins to tell them the lesson. And Naruto, when Kakashi's about to finish it, would say, you're worse than scum. Kakashi looks at Naruto and would be shocked because it's like the last person that knew what the line was Obito, the one who created it. And Naruto resembles Obito so much that it's almost uncanny. But Kakashi wouldn't say anything. And from here, he would treat the team to actually some ramen, considering that they did so well. They would take a picture on this day, and Naruto would go home feeling pretty good about himself. He realizes that from here, he got scratched up a lot. So what does Naruto do? He changes his fate. He ends up letting Sasuke be the one to take the brunt of the team. And he's the one who would actually end up getting scratched and, you know, mangled up by some cats, right? Obviously, it's nothing too crazy, but it's definitely a little bit of a funny thing to think about, right? But regardless, though, what ended up happening following this is essentially 2 weeks would go by in a flash, and before you know it, they would enter the room, which Hiruzen would inform them about a mission between a bridge builder, and Naruto would have actually told Hiruzen the true ranking of the mission, which would have actually been something along the lines of A rank. But you know, Hiruzen, knowing that, would actually not tell Kakashi, and Naruto and he would be the only ones to know. He would tell him that it's not a big deal, and later he should just overcompensate them for what the mission's actually worth. And Hiruzen would, you know, he would nod, and following this, the team would all be introduced to Tazuna. He would come in, and just like in the original, would begin to disrespect them, and, you know, the team would then meet him at the bridge the next day. When they do, they would end up embarking on their mission, and this time around, Naruto makes sure to help out Sasuke when it comes to the two demon brothers. He doesn't want to look embarrassed like he was in the original, so this time around when the demon brothers lunge in and Sasuke kicks one away, Naruto would be ready to actually punch another one back as he holds a kunai out and says, you guys are not touching the bridge builder. He makes sure that he looks as cool as possible as he looks to Sakura and would just like have a smile on his face saying, this time she doesn't think I'm a loser. And no, he's not trying to get at Sakura, guys. This is something that would have already well been faded away from Naruto, considering that he knows that that's Sasuke's, you know, girl at the end, and Naruto's not going to try anything. This time he's more mature than he would obviously be letting on, seeing as he's from, well, the future. But regardless, what would end up actually happening here is essentially Naruto would end up being able to ultimately disarm both demon brothers, and Kakashi would be able to unveil that he never truly died. It was just a shadow clone or a substitution jutsu, right? And the team would smile and pretty much go back to their normal team things where they end up trying to make their way towards the bridge and stuff like that. Eventually, they would make themselves go to where the foggy area was, and Zabuza would finally reveal himself. You know, he would do the classic Kakashi, the copycat ninja Kakashi. You know, if you hand over the bridge builder, nobody has to die. And Kakashi he's like, well, I'm sorry, but I can't really do that. Immediately the battle would start, and we would see the clash between Kakashi and Zabuza unveil, right? And this clash, seeing as nothing is really going to be prevented via Naruto this time around, seeing as, you know, he remembers this battle and exactly how everything goes down, and he's not exactly worried about anything. So when Kakashi tells them all to run, he would immediately turn to Sasuke and say, Sasuke, here, Like he just looks at him and nods, and it's crazy because Sasuke and Naruto literally knew what the plan was without even speaking to each other. Like that's just how smart these characters are. Like even somebody like Naruto, who's supposed to be a quote unquote knuckleheaded ninja, is capable of completing feats like that. Like that's completely insane to me. Me personally, I couldn't even do the plan perfectly if he would have told me step by step exactly what to do. Like I would have misheard something. I would have not like paid attention somewhere. Like that's just how I am. But regardless though, I can't assume that Naruto's a knucklehead just like me. But basically what ends up happening after this is Kakashi would end up getting trapped by the water prison, and Naruto would use the demon wind shuriken jutsu to actually catch Zabuza off guard. Now Naruto, when he would be about to hit the water, would be like, all right, I'll just use my water walking, but then he realizes that he can't. So right as he stops for an instant while he uses the water walking, he would just let himself fall. And Kakashi would notice that a little bit, being like, that's weird. But he doesn't focus on that, seeing as he has to face off against Zabuza, who currently he's going to need to trick into thinking that he could see into the future. It would work, and when Haku would end up arriving, Naruto would simply, not say nothing, right? And they eventually would make their way towards the house of Tazuna, where once they're there and Naruto sees Inari and he sees how he feels, he would not actually yell at Inari. Instead, he puts his plate back where it belongs in the dishwasher, and he proceeds to go outside to just start punching a tree and training and stuff, right? Trying to harden his body as much as he can, knowing that pretty soon Inari is gonna thank him for being here and that everything will finally end well, right? And so pretty much what ends up happening this time around is Naruto would decide that, okay, I'm still going to pretend to sleep in just to save Inari, or I could leave a clone behind to save Inari. And Naruto would actually think that that's a smart idea. So he would tell Kakashi, hey Kakashi, you think it would be a smart idea to leave a clone behind in case something were to happen? And Kakashi would be like, you're right Naruto, good idea. Or you want to leave a clone, you have more chakra than I do. And Naruto would be like, sure, I'll leave 2 behind just in case. He would leave 2 clones, and Naruto would make his way to the direction of the bridge, where everything would be going great up until when Haku and Zabuza would arrive. Now, there is one key detail that I still haven't covered considering the talk between Naruto and Haku, but that is for a very, very real reason that I'm going to be getting into once the fight begins. Right, the fight would start and Sasuke would begin to immediately fight off against Haku, but because Naruto knows that Sasuke would have been fine until the ice prison jutsu, Naruto would have decided that, this time around, he's not going to let things escalate as much as they did, and Haku is not going to kill himself. So what pretty much ends up happening is Naruto would actually end up telling Haku, mid-battle when they're inside the ice crystal mirror jutsus, that it's not worth it, and that pretty soon, like, this battle is gonna end, but it's gonna be a terrible ending, and like it's gonna just end badly for both parties. Telling Haku that it doesn't even have to be like this, that Gato's just playing them for fools. He's not gonna pay them. He doesn't even pay his own men. What makes them think that Gato has the integrity to even be a man of his word? They know he's not even like that. And you know what? This would actually put some doubt into the mind of Zabuza, because the kid's actually low-key, high-key spitting. Like, if you really think about it, Naruto is right on the money. And he's on it because he literally saw that Gato would have ended up arriving and not paying them. So Naruto says, look, if I'm wrong about this, take my life and the bridge builder. But I can bet everything that that man was not willing to pay you. And from here, what would end up happening is that Naruto would tell Haku to play dead, like to just trust him. And Haku would say, fine, right? And, Zabuza would get captured by Kakashi, and Naruto would tell Kakashi not to kill Zabuza, like, please don't kill him. So Zabuza would be captured with the dogs, and Gato and his men would finally end up arriving, right? This time around, Sasuke still would have unlocked the Sharingan, but Naruto still wouldn't have gone crazy, is what I'm trying to get at. And pretty much what would end up happening this time around is Naruto would have actually been there to kind of watch what ends up happening once once Gato arrives. When Gato gets there, he would pretty much end up kicking Haku just like he would in the original, and disrespecting him, saying that they might as well just kill Zabuza because he's not going to pay him anyways, and that they're here to finish the job when a lowly pawn can't do it themselves. After hearing this, Zabuza would be let go by Kakashi and his guard dogs that weren't actually even biting him hard. They were biting, which still hurt, but not hard, to the point where Zabuza was angry at Kakashi because at this point he realized Kakashi is not the enemy. He is. And from here, he would go on to pretty much lunge at Gato, but not before Haku would come in and actually slash at the throat of Haku. And from here, Haku and Zabuza, both healthy mind you, would be able to rush in and use their most powerful jutsus to actually take out all of Gato's men, including Gato himself, which would lead Naruto to pretty much have this cool goodbye between Haku and Zabuza, where they kind of realized that, you know, they really weren't the enemy and that Naruto's actually a cool guy. Naruto, right as Zabuza and Haku were about to leave, would look to Zabuza as he would say, Zabuza, wait. Zabuza stops and he looks at him and says, what do you want, boy? As from here, Naruto tells him, why not join the Hidden Leaf Village? Like, why keep being a missing nin that's going out with higher jobs when you could just join a village and do jobs for money? Like, you can have loyalty and you won't ever have to run or anything. Like, you can be free, you can be fine. And, you know, Zabuza would say that kind of life is not for me. I'm on a mission right now that I can't possibly fail. And Naruto would say, what if that mission would be completed by someone else? What if that's not your calling? Zabuza says, what do you mean? And Naruto just looks at him and says, like, there's so much better to life than that. Like, you could come to our village and be powerful ninjas. Like, you're along the ranks of that of Kakashi. Like, you would mean a lot to a village like ours. And, you know, Zabuza just stops to think, and then Naruto says, what about Haku? Like, can you consider to think about what he feels? All these years, it's just been your dream, but what about Haku? You never thought about that? And from here, Zabuza says, Haku is my tool. And Naruto gives him this crazy talk no jutsu that would lead Zabuza to actually have tears come out of his eyes and say, you know what, kid? Fine. We'll join the Hidden Leaf Village. As from here, they would make their way back to the Leaf Village with Zabuza and Haku, and Naruto would tell Hiruzen to just accept them, saying that they're trustworthy, which Hiruzen would do, and from here, they would both be integrated into the Hidden Leaf Village, with Zabuza and Haku actually being thrown into the Chunin exam, because they're not Chunin, since they can't just be integrated in instantly made Jonin just because of their power, seeing as they couldn't even do that to the Hokage Naruto, so they have to join the Chunin exams. And we're going to be seeing Haku and Zabuza in the Chunin exams. Isn't that like kind of dope? Like, if you really think about it, that's kind of cool. From here, Hiruzen would pretty much end up showing Haku and Zabuza to their quarters, considering that they are such high-level shinobis that it's in his best interest to keep them as happy as he possibly can. From here, though, the team would pretty much end up being compensated for this, and Naruto would get an extra little bonus for bringing 2 powerful ninjas to the village. And so, they would all end up going their separate ways. However, Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke would be walking the same way, and Naruto would be leading them towards the direction of where the Sand siblings would be at, where he would end up seeing Gaara once again young like he used to be during the Chunin exams when he was terrifying, and Gaara seemed so powerful that it was just crazy to fathom. But Naruto, now knowing how powerful Gaara truly gets in the future and just knowing him with this little weird haircut that he has, Naruto kind of just laughs thinking about how weird of a drastic change Gaara made in the future. And Naruto just can't help but feel like it was just kind of funny the way that everything just ended up panning out in the end. Naruto looks to Gaara, gives him this stare of like, I'm gonna beat you. And from here, Sasuke, you know, Tamari thinks that Sasuke's cute. And, you know, Sasuke would end up just kind of looking to Sakura. They would end up saving Konohamaru, and then the team would be like, all right, let's go. And from here, they end up taking their little quote unquote, how do I put it? They end up taking their little quote unquote, like, the entrance thing to the Chunin exams, because as you guys remember, there was like these little tests that some of the Chunins did to test if the Genins were even ready to take the Chunin exams. Now obviously Team 7 passes just like in the original, and what would end up happening following this is something very nothing crazy actually, because once they end up making it towards the Chunin exams tower, Naruto still ends up letting Lee end up whooping Sasuke's butt because it's something that Sasuke needed. Sasuke needed to get humbled, and Rock Lee is someone that Sasuke is definitely going to consider saving a lot of pain and, you know, trial that he ends up having to unfortunately go through, meaning he's probably going to end up having to step in when it comes to the Gaara versus Lee fight, or maybe ultimately Naruto could take his place potentially, just to get Gaara out of the way and prevent the attack on the village, right? But for right now, Naruto actually has his eye on a certain person that, you know, I personally wouldn't have minded if he was actually shipped with, and that is Ino, right? Naruto's looking at Ino and he's just like, damn, like, I remember what she used to look like. And, you know, Naruto was just like, her and Hinata, they basically end up being the best choices in the future. And Naruto was just like, I just want to know, like, what it would have been like if that would have been my choice. So Naruto walks over towards Ino, and, you know, he begins talking to her, and she, you know, she's happy. She's like responding back like nice, because Naruto isn't annoying her, and like he's not as annoying as he would be in the original. And so Ino would actually give him the time of day. Naruto would begin speaking to her and you know, spitting some game. My boy is cooking. You know, he's risen her up. And, you know, Hinata's just watching from the corner, just kind of twiddling her fingers, being like, Naruto-kun, as Naruto would just be risen up Ino, and eventually they would all be called over to do the written part. Naruto would decide that he actually wants to, like, you know, take Ino out a little bit, and so he decides, all right, after the Chunin exams, I'm taking Ino out so fast. Not to mention that this time around, Naruto decides that he's kind of thinking about things, because on one hand, Naruto knows that after the written portion, he's going to be having to let Sasuke either go with Orochimaru to gain the power that he would have in the original, or stay in the village and, you know, not gain that power, right? And Naruto, as of this moment, isn't really thinking straight, because he's still thinking that the timeline is going to work exactly as it would have in the original. But the thing is, it's not going to work the same way as it does in the original, because this time around, there's so many different elements and factors to this story that things are just crazy. The entire Uchiha clan is alive, so Orochimaru has no reason to attack the village. Not to mention, he knows that all of the Uchihas there would definitely be able to put a stop to, you know, his overall little plan. There would even be a bunch of little Uchiha like outcast members that would just be like in the background just to fill up the rest of the cast of the Chunin exams. And so there would just be like so much to the point where Orochimaru could really just kidnap any old Uchiha and it would still work when it comes to his plans. So that's something bad, because now Orochimaru has access to the Sharingan, which would make him more OP, but I'm not sure if he would gain access to the Mangekyo, because I don't think that there's anything Orochimaru could see that would give him access to it. I think the dude is just so corrupted and dark that there's nothing that could kind of be the spark to that of the unlocking of the Mangekyo. But Naruto's just kind of thinking, does he let Sasuke go, or does he end up taking Orochimaru out now? But he's about to find out there's gonna be no Orochimaru there, and it's gonna be pretty funny to see Naruto not even like realize that slowly he actually begun changing the timeline for the better, because Hiruzen, he doesn't die. And this time around, he's actually going to decide that it's about time that he truly retires. And there's somebody in the back of his mind that he wants to become the next Hokage. That is Fugaku Uchiha, the leader of the Uchiha clan.